to our player controller script. We'll open that up here over in Mono Develop. So we need a couple of things here. We need a point for the player to shoot from, so we'll call that public transform, let's call it fire point, and we need the item that he's going to fire. So public game object, we'll just say Ninja Star. Perfect. So now what we'll do is we'll go after all the movement code that we have, and we'll go down to here and we'll say if input dot get key down, we have to make sure get key down, and we'll say key code dot return. So when you hit the return or the enter button, it'll fire our Ninja Star. Now, why is this red here? Let me just type this in again just to make sure. Key code dot, oh, I think it was the small letters. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so now we'll make our squiggly brackets, put it here, and inside this is just simply going to be instantiate Ninja Star at, and the position of it, it'll be our fire point dot position and fire point dot rotation. Perfect. So that'll create our objects for us. So we'll go back into the game here. While that's compiling, we're going to add a fire point to the player. So we'll grab our player in the hierarchy and we'll say game object create empty child, and we'll call this, we'll just call this fire point as well, just to keep things nice and simple. We'll give this a little red dot here like this so we can see, and then we'll, if we click on it there again, and we'll just drag it out to here, say. So that seems roughly about right. And now we'll click back on our player, so we'll go down to here, and now we've got two spaces here. So we'll grab our fire point into our fire point place, and we'll click on prefabs and grab our Ninja Star prefab and pop it in there. Make sure you don't grab the one from the hierarchy, because there's only one of them there, and that one is going to be destroyed over time. Okay, so now we'll say, we'll hit play here and we'll see what we have, and hopefully it should be all working okay. Okay, that Ninja Star fell down, so that's not right. Actually, there we go. See, that's an example of something we need to make sure that the gravity scale is 0, because we don't want our throwing stars to fall down. Well, I mean, maybe we might want them to slowly fall over time, but I personally don't think we do. So we'll hit 0 there, and make sure, now that we have this as a prefab, every time we make a change we want to hit apply, so it applies to all the prefabs. So now we hit play again. Okay, and we hit enter. Oh, and it's making our objects appear, but of course all they're doing at the moment is just staying there. There's no movement on them. So how do we make them fire? Well, to do that, we'll very simply add a simple little script to each Ninja Star object. So we're going to create a script again, create C# script, and we're going to call this Ninja Star controller. Open this up in Mono Develop, and again, this is going to be a pretty simple bit of code once this opens up. Here we go. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is just make this move and be a star, basically. So we're going to need a speed. So we need a float speed. No, sorry, a public float speed. We need to say I can't type. Public float speed. Perfect. And that'll do for the moment. So we'll go to our update here, and basically all we'll do is, once the object is moving, we'll just say transform dot, sorry, not transform, rigid body 2D dot velocity is equal to new vector 2, and we're going to say speed, and we're going to say rigid body 2D. No, don't add capital letters, there's no need for that. See, it's weird with Mono Develop, sometimes it just wants to add a capital letter for no reason. Rigid body 2D dot velocity dot y. That's perfect. And we also want our object to get destroyed when it hits something, so we're going to add our void on trigger enter 2D, much as we have done before, and we'll say collider 2D other, and we add our squiggly brackets, and here we're just going to say destroy game object. Perfect. Save this, do the converting again if you have to, and then we'll hit play once that's finished compiling into the game. And it should be, now we should see that our ninja throwing stars can like fly through the air and hit enemies, or not. No, well, that's the problem, of course. If you don't add a script to the ninja star, nothing is going to happen. So ninja star controller speed, we'll say, let's give him a speed of 8. Again, hit apply, hit the play button this time. We should see the one up here fly off to the right. So he goes flying. We can throw our ninja stars. Perfect, just like we wanted. They destroy themselves when they hit player. Not doing any damage to the enemy yet, but we're going to sort that out in a minute. But the other problem is if we're facing left, oh, the ninjas still are trying to travel right. As you can see, you can kind of see them. They appear for a second and then they hit the player and then they get destroyed. So that's really not what we want to happen either. So a very simple way to do that is we'll add another variable here of a player controller, and we'll just call this player, and we'll do the same again of getting that player controller. So we'll just take that code from, say, our camera controller here, doesn't really matter. So we'll say again player is equal to find object of type, so pop that in there, and then in our start loop we will say if player.transform.localScale.x, so that'll get the x value, which is determining whether he's facing left or facing right. So if that is less than 0, so basically if he's facing left, then we'll say speed is equal to minus speed. So what that'll do is it'll take the speed value we have, it'll say if he's facing left, okay, we want the velocity to be minus 8, so that once the object is fired, it'll head off to the left. So we'll do that. We'll check that out here now in the game. Hit play here, and perfect. So now we've got our ninja stars flying off to the left, or flying off to the right. But we've got a little bit of a problem here. It's a little bit close to the player, and you can see. Oh no! This is a different problem that's happened. Sorry, it's colliding with the checkpoint. We'll sort that out in a little bit, but that's, for the moment, we're okay with that. But when we're moving like this, it's colliding with the player. So I think what we actually need is we need to pull this a little bit away from the player. So just say about there. So now if we hit play again, yeah. So now when you're walking, it doesn't accidentally hit off the player and get collided with him. Okay, that's fine. So, but it's not doing any damage to the enemy at all. So what's the point in having this thing if we're not going to be able to kill our enemies? So we'll head back into the script again. No, actually, before we head back in the script, we need the object to be able to know what is hitting is the enemy. And at the moment, there's nothing really to define this enemy here. I mean, he has an enemy patrol script, so we could say we could get it to check what the other object is, and we could get it to look for that script on the object and then decide, oh, it's an enemy, okay, we can destroy him. But another very simple way to do it is to add a tag to this enemy. So we have a little tag option here. You can see untagged, and if you drop this down, we've got like a few different things. We've got respawn, finish, blah, 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 blah. What we're going to do is add a tag here. We're going to add a new tag, and we're going to call this enemy. So that, and that's all you have to do. Just add that. Just type in enemy there. We'll head back to our enemy here. We're going to hit tag, and we're going to select enemy. And then in our script, we're going to say, okay, so the object gets destroyed when it hits something. But before it destroys itself, we wanted to check for the enemy. So we'll say if other.tag is equal to enemy. So now we know that we're hitting an enemy here at our squiggly brackets. Destroy other.gameObject. Save that. Hit play once it's all compiled out again. And now, hopefully, our shurikens or ninja stars, whatever you want to call them, boop, okay, enemy gone. Perfect. That's exactly what we want.